Hello, this is Pat Cahill from Pat Cahill Metalworks, and today I'm going to do a Keum-Bo cuff, similar to what I did before. Actually, not similar, but we'll go through the steps of preparing it. So this is a nice piece of sterling silver. It's 2 millimeters thickness, so it's nice, substantial silver, and I'm starting out with just over a 6-inch piece, and I'll round the edges. And I've done that on this side, so let's round the other edge. Okay, move the camera just a bit. To it for rounding the edges. I'll then sand them down a bit and then polish them on the wheel. And I'm going to polish this whole cuff in the beginning, which is that's what you usually do in the end, but I want to get a nice polish on it before I go through the process of bringing up the fine silver, and I'll show you what that's about. I have another video on that too, but it's worth going over again. So let me get this all polished up, and I'll be back for the next step. Okay, so it's all polished, nice ends, nice and smooth. And this next step is the time-consuming one. And what we're going to do is a process called Depletion Gilding. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to fire it up, start to bring the fine silver to the surface, and sort of burnish it, and continue to do that until when we fire it, it starts to look like fine silver. And by that I mean you won't see any. Do I have my? You won't see it turn dark. It will you just have like a milky white, which you won't. You'll see the difference as we go along. Now, I'm not going to show you all the steps here because, I'm going to show you all the steps. I'm just not going to show you every time I do it, because this is done about 6 or 7 times. Repeated. Rinse and repeat. So this first one, let me take off that, you can probably see it better. You see this goes totally to black, almost. And that's the copper coming to the surface, and we're going to get rid of that by pickling it and then burnishing the surface with a brass brush that has been wetted and has soap on it. So you can see this is basically annealing, a similar process to annealing. Okay, so that's the first time, and I'll pickle that, quench it, pickle it, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so the silver has been pickled, and the next step is to what we're doing is essentially burnishing the top. We got rid of the copper with the acid in the pickle. And now we're just burnishing the top with a soft brass brush that's soapy. Any type of soap. I guess before Dawn. Dawn is, for some reason, Dawn soap is the soap of preference for jewelers. And I'm going to wipe this a little bit just because I don't want to transfer any of the soap over to our water bucket. I'm going to, but minimize that. And then I'll dry it, trying to not touch it as much as possible. And then that goes back onto our our surface for firing. I'll turn this around. And repeat. Now, you're going to need to repeat this, maybe at least, I would say 5 times, maybe 6. You can go crazy with 7. Or maybe 7's a lucky number. But you will know when you're done. So I'm going to cut here and repeat it until it's almost done. And then I'll bring it back and show you the difference. You saw before how it turned dark, and again it's turning dark. I don't know if the lighting is good for that, but you know, it gets that annealed look to it if you know what I'm talking about. So again, I'm going to cut here. You can see it's not as dark as the first time, but you can see that it's dark. And I'm bringing the copper to the surface. And again, we're quench this, pickle it, and clean it with our brass brush, which again, as I said before, is basically burnishing the fine silver onto the surface so it sticks nice. And I'll bring you back when it's at the point where I feel that it's ready to go on to the next step. Okay? And I'll show you the difference where when you fire it, it just won't look, it won't turn brown at all or dark. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I repeated those steps about 5 times, 6 times, I think. And we'll do it one more time, show you the result of it. I don't know if more light helps, but so what we should get is no turning of a darker color. Make it just a creamy silver, matte silver color. Milky, I would say. And you can see that nothing is changing colors. And that tells you that you basically have a nice layer of fine silver. Because this is exactly what fine silver looks like when you're heating it up. And that's just the perfect medium to apply your gold foil for your Keum-Bo. So there it is. That goes once more into the quench. And pickle, but only for like, you don't really need to pickle. But you can throw it in the pickle for a second, which I'm gonna do. And again, one final burnishing with our tool, our brass brush, and then we'll wash it off. Okay, so into the soapy mixture, burnish it with a brass brush, soft brass, I don't know why that's tough to say, brass brush. Alright, you try to say it 5 times real quick. Alright, and that's it. So the next step is going to be applying the gold foil. And I'm wavering on 2 different designs, and I'm going to have to wait and see before I tell you, because I don't want to be wrong. But I'm sort of leaning towards what I would call like a mid-century modern type of things, where it's just, you just have these lines of silver going across the cuff bracelet. So I'll be back when I'm ready for that. I'll see you soon. Okay, so I've laid out my design. I actually put it on beforehand, most of them. Just place it, and I have it on top of my kiln. Let it warm up a bit. And then I'll take a agate burnisher and another burnishing tool to hold it down. And if it's at the right temperature, it should just stick right away. Be careful about these guys. I want them going all in the same direction. And okay. That's sticking down, that's sticking down. Place that a little bit better. Hopefully. Oop. It's gonna stay there. I can move this over so that it doesn't, so when I'm pushing down on it, I don't flip the thing over, which one can easily do. Right, stick that piece down, that piece down, and see, I'm just using my burnisher to burnish it right in there. And we'll move this along to the other side. So we can push it down, burnish it in. And I have a few more pieces. If I wanted to add some, I can see a spot I would like to add one to. And there. So there's so much you can do with Keum-Bo. And I know I've done this, I did this pretty similar before for you, but it's always worth repeating. And maybe, you know, also I hope I will show some little bit different things than I did last time. One of the things I like to talk about is, you know, what gold foil do you get? Well, it's not easy to find the best gold foil. You want to get a Japanese gold foil that's much thicker than some of the ones that you can get, for example, from Rio Grande. Rio Grande sells gold foil and it's good, and I've used it, but it's not as thick as some of the ones that you can get by a Japanese supplier. And the one place I found that you can buy it here without having to buy it from Japan is Contenti in Providence, Rhode Island. They're old time jewelry supplier, and they used to be where you could only buy for them if you had like a seller's license. So what I done, I don't know if you saw that, because let's turn this up. I put this on my metal block, and that'll cool it down rather quickly. So that's my design for now. I have to decide if I want to do anything else with it. There are other things that one can do. Of course, I could oxidize it, and that looks great. I'm just burnishing it a little bit more. It's not really doing, I don't know why I do this, because unless it's hot, it's not really fusing to the surface. So it's already fused. I'm just doing what I do. Anyway, there it is. It really does cool down so quickly when it's on this metal plate. So the next step would be to form it into a cuff bracelet. Okay, so here we are at the bracelet mandrel. And do as I always do. Around the edges, make your C, and you can bring it around with your hand and finish it off. This one goes to the next step. Okay, it's going to need a little bit of adjustments, which I can do over on the bench, but there you have it. Here's your cuff. Okay, so this is how it looks now, and you could call this the final product, but I think I'm going to do something a little bit different, just so we mix it up. What I'm going to do is going to oxidize it, and then I'm going to tumble it in stainless steel shot that will burnish it again and make it the oxidation really shiny and bring out, of course, the difference and bring out the gold, really bring it out. Or you could just leave it like this. I'll have to decide that. So I guess I'll decide that off camera and either come back and wrap it up with this or show you what happens when you oxidize it and then burnish it by tumbling it in the steel shot. Okay, so I decided to oxidize it because the gold and the black just is so dramatic and so nice looking. Maybe better if I put white underneath of that so you can see it. So there it is, there's the cuff. I think it turned out quite nice. I'm going to call it the mid-century modern cuff. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again sometime soon. Bye.